roll call. Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Mrs. Lavelle?
Here.
Mr. Barrett?
Here.
And Mr. Merritt?
Here.
Also in attendance tonight is Administrator Greg Baruch, Deputy Administrator Leanne Toole, Municipal Affairs Manager Andy LaFrog, and Assistant City Clerk Catherine Payne, Administrative Assistant Lisa Sanfilippo, and Assistant City Attorney Bill Vinsko. Does anyone from the public wish to comment on legislation pending before council tonight? There are only 2 items.
Mr. Sorick.
Hi, Frank Sorick, South Wilkes-Barre. Just a quick question. On the vehicle purchase that we're replacing, do we know the year, make, model, and mileage of the vehicle that we are replacing?
I have it on my desk. I don't have it here. I can go get it if you need it. It's 13 years old, Mike, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I don't have the over 80,000 miles. I could grab it if you want.
I was just curious. It's not the SUV, the Ford, the newer one that we see the fire chief driving. It is the older car.
Right. It's
Okay.
13 years old. It's a F350.
The pickup. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Okay. I was just curious to know if it was the newer one that we were
No.
replacing. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sorick. Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, then the only formal order of business for council is the consent agenda with 2 resolutions. Motion, second, and vote.
Motion.
Bill? And Tony? Okay, Mr. George Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Tony George?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavelle?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
And Mr. Merritt?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Mr. George, do you have any presentation to say?
Nothing.
And Mrs. Lavelle?
No, nothing tonight.
Mr. Brown?
No, sir.
Mr. Barrett?
Nothing additional, thank you.
Okay. All right. Frank Sorick?
Good evening again. Frank Sorick, South Wilkes-Barre. I'm here tonight to ask council, with regards to the ACLU lawsuit, to please suspend the current one-strike ordinance until such time as this lawsuit is resolved, as to not further impact the taxpayers with possible lawsuits that may come against the city as a result of this one, should the ACLU be victorious. I believe that that's going to open up the city for liable claims because of, if our ordinance is struck down, then the landlords may have a claim against the city as they were unduly shut down under an illegal ordinance. So I would ask that the city please suspend the one-strike ordinance until such time as that lawsuit is resolved. And if our ordinance is upheld, of course, immediately reinstate the ordinance. But if it's struck down, then of course we would need to revise it. As I stated when this ordinance was being presented, I believed at the time it was unconstitutional, that there were several sections of the ordinance that I believed needed to be reworked. And of course, the ordinance was in fact passed, and now the ACLU is challenging it. And I don't believe that the ACLU normally files frivolous lawsuits. I think that they investigate, and if they believe it to be unconstitutional, 9 times out of 10 it usually is. So I would just ask that we suspend this and take a good look at it and make sure that it is going to be defendable before we move forward with any further shutdowns under this. The last time we went ahead and passed ordinances and shut down businesses, it cost the city over $100,000 in a settlement lawsuit when the owner of that business filed a lawsuit against the city. I just don't want to see the taxpayers on the hook once again. Thank you.
Jim Burden?
Jim Burden, 58 Taft Street, Wilkes-Barre. I have a couple things. First one is I brought to your attention about Puritan Lane, about making it one way from Grant Street up to Taft Street, heading east, to make it one way heading east up there. I've been getting standoff with people coming down. The only place that there's a stop sign is up at Taft Street. Okay, there's no stop signs anywhere else going up that street. So you can generally just drive through it and just keep going. Somebody's going to get killed. That's why I'm asking for the signs to be put up for it to be one way heading east on Puritan Lane. Another thing is Northampton and Grant Street. I don't know if anybody ever come down Grant Street, but if you're driving down Grant Street and you hit Northampton Street, there's a gully there. I watch cars every day smash into it. And then when it rains, because of the poor drainage there, you get about 10 inches of water between both sides on Grant Street there, from east side of Grant Street to the west side. You get about 10 inches of water, and it's cold, and that freezes, and them cars come flying through there, and I've already watched them. When they come through, they're sliding. And then you got kids coming home from school, going to school, and they got to walk through all that water. And I mean, it expands a good couple feet. If somebody can come up there and look at that and have it filled in where it's level for the water can drain off, I'd appreciate that. And I asked about the crosswalks, about having them painted. Cars are going right out in the middle, or crossing right out in the middle. They're not giving the kids any room to walk. If you can check back into that, I'd appreciate that.
You're talking about Northampton and Grant?
Northampton and Grant, all of them.
Okay.
You know, if they can be painted, but the ones up there, I mean, they're just crossing right across. They're not even stopping. I have to go out there and say to them, yo, back up. Let these kids cross. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it's not my job to be doing it, but I got, you know, I can't let these kids cross, you know.
And they're all the crosswalks the kids use from the elementary school.
From the elementary school, you know. So if you can please get some of the crosswalks painted up through the height section, you know, it would be nice, you know. And that's about all I have today. Oh, by the way, Orkin came and they set the traps. The traps are up for my four-legged friends, Racky Raccoon. So we're on the hunt for them again. So thanks for getting them out there. And that's all I have today.
Thanks, Mr. Burden. And can we send somebody up there to take a look at the goalie and the crosswalk situation? Somebody from
Mr. That's a state highway, right? Northampton Street?
Yeah, it's a state highway. I know that.
Work with the school district, so they are crosswalks for the students.
It won't happen until the spring because you just can't put a paint on the road at this time. It's too cold out. It will never stick to it. So once the weather breaks, we can go out there and do that.
Okay, and we'll...
In terms of Puritan Lane, that went before the traffic committee today. They're in support of it. You know, you can only really get one car up there. They tabled it to the next month because Chief Delaney wants to look and see which direction he wants to make the one-way for the fire trucks and everything.
All right, well,
So,
you know, for the last 59 years, all right, it's been one way going up because that stop sign's only been on the top of the hill, up at the corner of Taft and Puritan Lane, since I've been a kid, and I've been living up there all my life.
Well, the fire chief wants to look at it,
Yeah,
so
so hopefully they'll confirm that.
after that should be determined.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burden. Rod Kaiser?
First, let me ask you, members of council, can you hear me? All right, do I need the, Mark, you should be in front of that. I'm here with Jim Bellezza, who's the owner of Bell Furniture on South Main Street. First, I'd like to say we're not here to ask council to take any action at that time, but to really advise council of a proposal we would like to make at a future time in more detail. Jim has been the owner and operator of Bell Furniture for, I think, 55 years or more, and you're probably already aware that he acquired the old Army Navy store and has now turned that into a furniture gallery. The property in between Bell Furniture and the old Army Navy store was comprised of 2 parcels and a right-of-way. Those parcels of property, known as 105 South Main Street and 109 South Main Street, are currently owned by the City Redevelopment Authority, and it's our understanding the city is foreclosing on all Redevelopment Authority property. So at some point in the future, those properties are going to be title will be passing to the City of Wilkes-Barre. Jim would like to acquire those 2 parcels, or at least one of them, for purpose of expanding his business. I would wonder if you might ask Jim to briefly give you an idea of what he has entailed. Would it be acceptable?
Sure.
When we purchased the...
Sir, just for the record, your name?
James Bellezza.
Okay, James, thank you.
When we purchased the old Army Navy store, we thought that Grover Lane went right up against that building. It doesn't. There's several feet between, because our deed says it goes right up to Grover Lane. And there is several feet of space between Grover Lane and our building right now. So we have several feet of space before Grover Lane starts. Now on the other building, one time the building they tore down was attached to our building. And there was a fire entrance, and there, if you come down you can actually see the openings where it went into there. And there was a right-of-way so that if anybody wanted to get out of them buildings, that was the fire entrance out. What our plan would be we redid the Army and Navy stores, you could probably have seen, and invite anybody to come down. I'd like to take them through it and show them. We completely redid the whole inside. It turned out magnificently. Right now we want to do our other buildings on the other side, and our intention is that we want to put a stucco it and put a side entrance into that lot and have it as an entrance from the side. The entrances are already there, all we got to do is open them up. We also have the Wyoming Valley Art League right behind us, who bought that round building. And we thought that with that being a mainstay in town, this would keep it open, and we can make that into that lot and to give it some greenery and some parking for our business. Our intention is to put galleries in, and since the city needs retail, I think we are in a position to make that as an anchor area for the second block for retail. Our intention right now is we put a leather gallery in the old Army and Navy, and we put a motion gallery in the bottom. This is the new concept and new way of doing business today with the internet and all that. We're linking up with some of the major manufacturers on this here. So when we're through with this here, it'll be really a mainstay in the town. And this is what our intentions are.
Okay. Greg, who should they reach out to?
Yeah, if you, Rod, you can give me a call and I can give you the updates on where we are with that. Because there may be something you can do if you want to put the side entrance there for now. There could be something that we could probably do to get that going. Okay. You know, title is obviously an issue, and there's some title issues that we're going to be addressing in 2015 or early 2016 on those issues. But And that's just not your property, it's throughout the city. But we know that that's an important issue. We don't want to stop development issues, which, you know, just a few easements and egress issues, we probably can address something like that. So if you just want to give me a buzz, sure, Richmond, take care of it.
Sure. Thank you very much.
And I'd just like to commend you on your dedication to the city. I mean, you're a proven success for the city, and the city can be like that once again. And you, like you said, you are the mainstay, and I appreciate that.
There is no retail in the first block, and the second block has some retail. And I think that if you want retail downtown, you have to get started with.
Right. And you did a wonderful job on the art store. It's beautiful.
I wish you would come down and take a look. It's really magnificent inside. I mean, it is absolutely right.
It is.
It is.
At lower level.
I mean, the lower level and the upstairs, we carpeted it, we painted it, we redid the whole thing, did everything.
Did the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Get him to buy something.
Yeah. That's what
Hey, Bob Kadluboski.
I just want to do this here, bro. Could you make a copy of this?
Name for the record, sir.
Bob Kadluboski. I just wanted to do a little follow-up on what Frank said. I guess Councilman George, I'm going to have to ask you to do this. I'd like to ask you to make a motion to either rescind this ordinance that where they filed this lawsuit. As you know, I was one of the ones that come down and complained about this because, you know, how do you know what your tenants are doing? I just had a situation with a tenant who I thought was a good tenant, and for all purposes thought was going to continue to be a good tenant, and was glad that she was moving out along with her boyfriend who wasn't supposed to be there. But, you know, as soon as I seen a problem, I immediately contacted the city attorney's office, put a call on Attorney Vinsko, but he didn't, I mean, he was busy, I didn't get a call back, but I went to the police with what I thought was going on. But anyway, that situation is done. But I got a little taste of what could happen, because the first thing I thought of is they would just love to shut my apartment down for 6 months. But I asked for you to get a copy of this lawsuit. I'd like each council person to read this and take your time and read it and to see what this turned into. And if any of these accusations that are in this lawsuit are true, we're in real trouble. If you read it, you're going to see we're in trouble. Where a woman was handcuffed, taken to the police station, held for 2 hours, and never charged, and was let go. I mean, we're in trouble. And Mr. Vinsko is the author of it. As you know, he's the same person who put together this towing contract, and you see where this turned into. And he's the same person who sat right here, and I don't believe he knows about the Constitution, about what your rights are. He sat right here the day they had the press conference and fired me. No trial, no hearing, nothing. And it cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. Same attorney, poor Denise Carey, almost had a nervous breakdown. I believe she ended up in the hospital. Worked one weekend, I believe, came up with an $11,000 bill. And all the woman was trying to do was stick up for her fellow citizens. Her life was turned upside down for years. And she ended up winning. And it ended up, it cost the taxpayers, again, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just, it's not, we have to stop this. And I would just ask council, take a look at this. Read what this turned into. This isn't Nazi Germany. This ordinance could have been something good. This could have been a good tool. One strike and you're out because you have implied knowledge. I had no idea what was going on in my apartment. As soon as I got word, I immediately met with a detective. I immediately talked to the commander, Coffey, and told him what I thought was going on to protect myself. I could have been very easily shut down for something I had no idea was going on. Attorney Vinsko's record, when it comes to people's rights, stinks. Stinks. I don't know if he even knows what the Constitution is or what your rights are. The proof is me. Sat right there when they had their press conference, and I said to him, you think it's funny? Seriously. Didn't I wipe that smile off your face when we went up and what did Judge Munley said about your actions, Mr. Smiley Face? He said what they did to Mr. You're really ignorant, Smile. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny what happened to Kathy's husband because of the corruption in this building and over the police station. Do you think it was funny? Were you laughing at the wake?
That's enough,
That's
Mr.
about
Kadluboski.
Well, no, hey, I don't care.
This
It's the
one,
truth.
Professionalism, continue.
Well, hey, it is the truth.
Officer Hammerman.
Why, I didn't do nothing, I'm talking. I'm not leaving. I want to finish my presentation.
You're being disrupted?
No, I'm not.
You're being asked to leave, thank you.
No, I'm not leaving.
Motion to adjourn?
Why? You can't, you're violating my rights, Mike. You can't do this. That man's a damn idiot. Look what happened with Denise Carey. How funny is it, Bill? I don't think it's funny what happened to Kathy's husband or the cops that are in trouble.
That's a little bit.
Can I have a copy of the lawsuit, Mike? I gave it to her, when she makes the copies I need. Jim, I'll
I'll see.
All right, I'll wait.
Back at it.